Monday. And believe it or not, we are in week 7, day 18 for Introduction to Computers. So we talked a little bit more about hardware and software details. We looked inside boxes. We didn't do groups for iron and lace. I didn't have enough people say they had enough information for that. So we might look at that at another time. And we're going to do drive first thing on Wednesday. Now the students should be started with their spreadsheet project number 3, so we can answer questions on Wednesday. Alright, so start off the day. I mentioned the concept of financial aid, and then the students looked up Venezuela, cryptocurrency, and we talked a little bit about the petrol, and we also talked about Bitcoin, only because in my search Bitcoin came up and it didn't come up in any of the student search. Okay, some more of that concept of what I look for is going to lead to different results than what a particular student looks for. And we're going to keep comparing those as we go along. Venezuela was, the economy was rich in oil, and then when the oil prices went down, they had issues, so they created a new currency called the petro. It's actually, that's short for something longer, I don't know what it is. But it is a cryptocurrency, and a cryptocurrency you might have heard of already is Bitcoin. And then we mentioned the term blockchain. This all comes up a little bit more later on in the year, cryptocurrency and so forth. Next thing we did, we talked about buying a laptop for a business student. That was one of the tasks in this unit, and there were 3 major ones talked about: MacBook and MacBook Pro. Some talked about a Hewlett-Packard. There was a Dell and a couple others listed, and then the idea of a Chromebook. So we talked about the plus and minuses. We talked about the cost of MacBook. We didn't list some exact cost. We did talk about, though, how important it is to understand your needs. You know, what do you really need in the computer? We talked about comparing prices and what you can get. You can get a laptop that's, you know, pretty close to being as powerful as a desktop. Maybe not on the real high end, but you spend a lot more for a laptop than you would a desktop of comparable power. We talked about storage, and we did talk about a couple key things, okay, in terms of how important RAM is in buying a computer, and then what are you going to store on it? How much storage do you actually need? RAM, and we talked about processors a little bit. We had a couple students had comments referring to the computer for iron and lace, and some good ideas. Replace the hard drive with an SS solid state drive, which you could do, and add more memory. What we should do is look at how much would that cost compared to, you know, what a new one costs and so forth. Then we spent a little bit of time talking about input and output. Output, we talked about a display, pixels, and resolution. Should know the difference of those. We talked about audio, all the different ways, you know, in terms of speakers and headphones and how the audio coming out of the computer. And then we talked about there's printed. Laser, L-A-S-E-R, laser, the Z. Either way, we're talking about 3D printers, laser, inkjet. We didn't spend a whole lot of time on that, but I did emphasize one thing. This might cost more up front, but this might cost more in the long run. You just have to decide how many copies and so forth you're making. 3D printers are cool. We're going to try to look at those later on in the term. Okay? Alright. Next thing, we talk about all kinds of ways to get information into the computer. Your mouse, clicking, typing in the keyboard, all kinds of touch, swipe, and so forth with your hand. You can talk to a computer, use the mic. A webcam can grab information, put it in the computer. We can scan, and there are lots of options when it comes to scanning. Scanning a UPS symbol, scanning a correct reference code, maybe scanning the code on your wallet, scanning an image. And we're going to talk more about those tomorrow. Also radio waves, like same thing as Wi-Fi or from a satellite, GPS. There's information coming in and out of your device from a GPS and so forth in terms of location. So there's a lot of things. We can't cover all the details here in class, but there's a lot of things, and hopefully we can refer to them as we move on through the course. Alright, so the next thing, we talked a little bit, and you could spend a lot of time talking about system software and applications. We have to be able to distinguish between those two. Okay, system software typically deals with the hardware. Applications, we as users deal with the applications. The applications communicate to the system and in some cases to the hardware, but mostly through the system software. So we listed operating systems, we talked a little bit about utilities, and we talked about device drivers. A device driver is that idea that you could have one type of computer, let's say you could have an Apple, and that computer can print to maybe a Canon printer. Does that make sense? There's a driver that allows us to do that. There's software that allows different devices to communicate. Talk more about that as we go along. Talk about productivity software, and there's lots of other application type software. We'll keep talking about those during the entire year, okay, as we move on. So, here we are. You need to finish up your outline for this term, do a peer review. Even if your partner hasn't been doing much work, you need to do that. We need to do the discussion forum. This, buying a laptop, most people have done. You can still do that. And you need to take this assessment. And those are the things you want to complete actually by tonight. We start Unit 4 tomorrow. So a couple key things. You can start on the outline. Here, let me do this. You can start on the outline for Unit 4, right? And you should be working on the project, or have a good start, or at least a really good start on project number 3, spreadsheets. So we can go over that on Wednesday. Alright? Alright, that's it for today.